Nobody walked onto center court today expecting history to be made. But by the time the final ball was struck, an entire stadium was left in disbelief. What unfolded on Wimbledon's most iconic court wasn't just another upset. It was the kind of moment people will be talking about for years. A 21-year-old from the Philippines, Eala, delivered the biggest victory of her career and one of the most stunning shocks this tournament has seen in recent memory. To understand why this result is so extraordinary, you need to know the story behind it. Standing across the net wasn't just another seeded player. It was the reigning Wimbledon champion, a six-time Grand Slam winner who had spent years fighting the label of being only a clay court player before finally silencing every critic by lifting this very trophy just 12 months ago. She returned to the All-England club looking every bit like the favorite, storming through her opening 2 matches while dropping barely any games. She looked untouchable. Most fans assumed her path into the second week was already guaranteed. Then came Eala. Just 1 year ago, very few people outside the most dedicated tennis circles even knew her name. She was battling through qualifying events, chasing ranking points, and trying to prove she belonged on the biggest stages in the sport. But everything changed this season. She captured her first title in Birmingham. She followed it up with a semi-final run in Berlin. Then came another milestone, earning a Wimbledon seed for the first time in her career, becoming the first player from the Philippines to achieve that honor. It wasn't just a personal breakthrough, it was a historic moment for her country. Only 2 days earlier, Eala had survived a grueling 3-set battle against the player who famously ended Serena Williams' final Wimbledon campaign. After dropping the opening set, she fought her way back with incredible determination, avenging a heartbreaking loss from the previous year, a defeat she later admitted stayed with her emotionally for months. Even with all that momentum, almost nobody believed she could eliminate the defending champion. The expectation was simple. For Alex, this would be another valuable learning experience. For the champion, it was supposed to be another routine victory. Instead, center court witnessed something nobody saw coming. What started as a normal third-round match slowly transformed into one of the most astonishing collapses of the tournament. Point by point, game by game, the defending champion's confidence disappeared, while the young challenger grew stronger with every swing of the racket. And that's what made this performance so remarkable. Eala wasn't simply playing great tennis. She never looked intimidated. She trained for years at the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, where resilience, discipline, and relentless competitiveness are part of the daily routine. Those lessons were on full display. Even when momentum shifted against her, she stayed calm, trusted her game, and refused to panic. Many talented young players struggle to handle the pressure of the professional tour. Alex has spent this entire season proving she is different. Across the net stood one of the sport's most complete competitors, renowned for her heavy topspin, exceptional court coverage, and one of the most feared return games in women's tennis. Her Wimbledon triumph last year had finally erased every lingering question about whether her game could thrive on grass. The two had already faced each other twice before, splitting their previous meetings, with the defending champion winning the most recent encounter. In fact, before this match, she openly admitted that Alex's unpredictable style, filled with clever changes of pace, sharp angles, and fearless shot-making, made her an especially dangerous opponent. She knew it would be challenging. What she never imagined was watching her own game unravel in front of an increasingly stunned, roaring center court crowd, as a fearless 21-year-old announced herself to the tennis world in unforgettable fashion. The moment both players walked onto center court, the atmosphere felt electric. You could sense the anticipation before a single point had even been played. Wimbledon regulars found themselves surrounded by a sea of flag-waving Filipino supporters who had traveled across the world, believing they might witness something unforgettable. From the very first moment, one thing became obvious. Eala wasn't here to soak in the occasion. She came to win. After winning the coin toss, she made a fearless decision, choosing to receive first instead of serve. It was a subtle statement, but an important one. She wasn't planning to react to the defending champion's game. She intended to dictate it. And what followed was one of the smartest tactical performances you'll ever see from a young player facing a champion of this caliber. It looked as though Alex had spent weeks studying exactly how to dismantle one of the most dangerous baseliners in women's tennis on a grass court. Every shot had a purpose. Her low, skidding backhand slice stayed inches above the grass, forcing the champion into uncomfortable positions where she had to lift the ball from ankle height, a nightmare for a player whose heavy topspin game thrives on high-bouncing rallies. Almost immediately, the mistakes began to pile up. Frame after frame, miss after miss. And just when the defending champion looked ready to settle into a rhythm, Alex changed gears. She would suddenly unload a blistering backhand down the line, or flatten out a forehand winner that left her opponent frozen where she stood. Then came the drop shots, not desperate attempts, not highlight reel risks. They were part of a carefully designed game plan. Again and again, Alex dragged the defending champion toward the net, an area of the court where she has never looked completely comfortable. Once she was there, Alex either threaded a pinpoint passing shot beyond her reach or patiently waited for the rushed volley that inevitably floated long or crashed into the net. It was tennis played with remarkable maturity. With every passing game, the pressure became more visible. The defending champion's glances toward her coaching box grew longer and more frequent, searching for answers that simply weren't there. The confidence that had carried her through the opening rounds was beginning to disappear. When Alex finally closed out the opening set, after breaking serve twice, an unmistakable murmur swept across center court. The impossible suddenly felt possible. For the first time all tournament, the defending champion looked vulnerable. Of course, almost everyone expected the response that great champions are famous for. And for a while, it arrived. The second set looked like a reminder of exactly why she owns 6 Grand Slam titles. Her returns became deeper and heavier. Her serve exploded wide with far more pace and precision. She pinned Alex behind the baseline, dictating rallies on her own terms and forcing the young Filipino into defense. An early break of serve followed, accompanied by one of her trademark roars that echoed around center court. The momentum had completely flipped. Point after point, she suffocated Alex with relentless pressure, and before long, the second set belonged entirely to the reigning champion. It was the version of her that tennis fans know so well, aggressive, clinical, and nearly impossible to stop. At that moment, the script seemed obvious. The fearless underdog had pushed the favorite early, but experience would eventually prevail. Or so everyone thought, because what happened next changed everything. Before the deciding set began, Alex requested an extended break off the court. It was a subtle but incredibly savvy move. Whether intentional or not, it interrupted every ounce of momentum the defending champion had just built and forced both players to reset mentally. When Alex returned, something about her looked different. There was no panic, no frustration, no signs of pressure, only a quiet confidence. She looked completely locked in. The opening game of the third set became an instant classic. For more than 10 exhausting minutes, the two battled through one brutal rally after another. Alex attacked every vulnerable second serve, stepping inside the baseline and taking the ball astonishingly early. She created one break point after another, relentlessly asking questions of the defending champion. For times, the champion answered. For times, she produced clutch serves under immense pressure, reminding everyone why she has spent years at the very top of the sport. But on the fifth break point, everything changed. A nervous forehand drifted into the bottom of the net. Silence. Then an explosion of noise. Alex had the break. The roar from center court was deafening. It was the kind of moment that gives you goosebumps, whether you were sitting in the stadium or watching from thousands of miles away. From that point onward, the defending champion began to unravel in a way almost no one could believe. The composure that had defined her championship career slowly disappeared. Her movement became rushed. Her footwork, usually so precise and effortless, suddenly looked uncertain. The timing vanished. The confidence faded. And with every passing point, it became increasingly clear that this wasn't just another upset in the making. It was the birth of a new star on one of the biggest stages in all of sport.